Hi, boys and girls, welcome back. I have prepared another guided reading lesson for you, and I have a Seminole tale titled The Alligator and the Eagle. It is by Macmillan McGraw-Hill, and it's illustrated by Sehi Young. Okay, so I am going to read it for you, and then we are going to review some vocabulary words as well as answer some questions. The Alligator and the Eagle, a Seminole tale. What kinds of birds do you see in your neighborhood? How do they act? What books and stories have you read about birds? Long, long ago, when the world was young, there were only animals living on earth, and all of the animals could talk. One day, a group of birds that lived in the swamp decided to play ball. There was the great blue heron with its dark blue feathers, the roseate spoonbill, and the vivid pink and red feathers. With its vivid pink and red feathers, the white pelican with its orange bill and legs, and last but not least, the powerful eagle with its keen eyesight and sharp claws. These birds had been friends for a long time and often played together. Okay, so we have two words that are shaded. Okay, and the first word that we see that's shaded is group. So if we look down here at the bottom, we have the definition for that word group, and that means a number of animals or something that are alike in some way. Okay, then we also have another word that's shaded, and that vocabulary word is vivid. Okay, and that word means bright or colorful. Okay, now what are our questions? Well, the first one is, what are the birds doing? So what do we see that the birds are doing? Okay, so if we look here in the text, it says, one day a group of birds that lived in the swamp decided to play ball. So they're playing ball. If we look at the illustrations here, we see that one of the birds, which is the eagle, is holding the ball. Okay, our second question. What other animals do you see in the picture? So we have a spoonbill, we have a blue heron, okay, and we also have a pelican, right? Okay, a white pelican, the eagle, yeah. So those are the birds that we see here in the illustration. Okay, so next we have the next page. As the birds tossed the ball back and forth to one another, they were laughing and having a marvelous time. The heron and the spoonbill used their long, thin legs to run swiftly after the ball and catch it. The pelican flew after the ball and always managed to catch it just before it dropped. And when the ball was thrown high above the trees, the great eagle soared without even flapping its wings and caught it easily. All afternoon, the birds happily played their game of catch. They did not know they were being watched the whole time. The old alligator that lived by the pond was staring at them and getting angrier by the minute. Okay, so if we see here, we have a word that is also shaded, and that word is soared. Okay, so the word soar means to fly high. Okay, so we have three other questions, okay, that we are going to answer. The first question is, which bird is catching the ball? So what is this bird that's up here in the top? That is the eagle. So we have the eagle there. Okay, so what are the other birds doing? So what do you see the other birds doing in this illustration? Okay, we see that they're waiting, right? For him to throw them the ball or for them to catch them. Okay, and the last question. How does the alligator feel? Well, if we go back into the text here, it says, the old alligator that lived by the pond was staring at them and getting angrier by the minute. So we see that according to the text, The alligator was not happy. Okay, it says he was getting angrier. Huh, said the alligator. Those birds never asked me to play. Of course, the reason he had not been invited to play was because he was an alligator. And since alligators are known to eat birds, it is normal bird behavior to stay away from them. Still, the alligator felt very angry. And this was no ordinary alligator. He had magic powers. So the very next time a bird threw the ball, the alligator said a few magic words to make the ball stay in the air. The birds did not know what was happening. They tried and tried to bring the ball down, but it was no use. No matter what they did, the ball stayed in the air. So we have another vocabulary word here that is shaded within our text, and that vocabulary word is behavior. So down here, if we look at the bottom for behavior, it is a way of acting. Okay, our first question reads, why is the alligator angry? It says, humph, said the alligator. Those birds never asked me to play. So he's angry because the birds are not allowing him to play. So the second question, what does he do with the ball? So if we go back in the text, it says that this was no ordinary alligator. He had magic powers. It says, so the next time a bird threw the ball, the alligator said a few magic words to make the ball stay in the air. So you see how the ball, no one is touching the ball, but yet it is floating up in the air. And that's because of the alligator's magic powers. Okay, so the last question, what do the birds want? Okay, so it says they tried and tried to bring the ball down, but it was no use. So they wanted to bring the ball down, but the alligator with its magic powers was holding the ball up. Okay, next page here. It says, after a long time, the alligator made the ball drop. We'll put it up here. Okay, after a long time, the alligator made the ball drop and caught it in his mouth. Please give us back our ball, pleaded the birds, but the alligator refused. The heron, the spoonbill, and the pelican tried to pry his mouth open, but they could not do it. The alligator's jaws were too strong. Suddenly, the wise and powerful eagle flew off a nearby tree branch. He swooped down to the alligator and dug his sharp claws into his back. The alligator was so surprised that his mouth flew wide open and he hissed, "Ah, ah, ah!" As he hissed, the ball dropped out of his mouth. The birds grabbed it and off they went. The alligator watched unhappily as the birds played without him. And to this day, when the alligator is surprised, he opens his mouth and hisses, ah, ah, ah. Okay, so we have a vocabulary word here, and that vocabulary word is pleaded. So pleaded or plead means when you beg someone to do something. Okay, so the first question is, what is the next thing the alligator does with the ball? So what does the alligator do with the ball? Okay, so it says after a long time, the alligator made the ball drop and caught it in his mouth. So the alligator had the ball in his mouth. Okay, the second question, how does the eagle make him drop the ball? Okay, so what does the eagle do to make the alligator drop the ball? Okay, so it says, suddenly the wise and powerful eagle flew off a nearby tree branch. He swooped down to the alligator and dug his sharp claws into his back. The alligator was so surprised that his mouth flew wide open and he hissed, Okay, so when he hissed, the ball dropped out of his mouth. And that's when the birds grab it and off they went, it says. Okay, so it's the last question. To this day, what does the alligator do when he is surprised? So it says, and to this day, when the alligator is surprised, he opens his mouth and he hisses. Okay, so that's the tale of why the alligator does this. Okay, all right, boys and girls. So let's go to our next page here. Okay, and as you can see, we have our vocabulary meaning match. We have an alligator here, we have an eagle, and we have another bird here in the swamp. Okay, so our vocabulary words is plead, behavior, group, soar, and vivid. Okay, so we have some definitions here that we are going to match with our vocabulary words. So if you want to join me for this activity, boys and girls, go ahead and write 1 through 5. Okay, and after you are writing 1 through 5, I want you to just write our vocabulary words when it matches. Okay, so help me read number 1. It says, a group of animals or something that are alike in the same way. A group of animals or something that are alike in the same way. So actually it has the word in there already. Okay, so that would be group. Okay, group. It says when animals are together or things that are together, it's a group. All right, so number 2, a way of acting. A way of acting is behavior. Okay, so we have behavior for number 2. Okay, so for number 3, when you beg someone to do something. When you beg someone to do something, that is plead. Okay, plead is to beg someone to do something. Okay, number 4, to fly high. This is something that the eagle was doing in our story. He was soaring. Soar is to fly high. Okay, and last but not least, bright or colorful, that is vivid. Something that is bright and colorful is vivid. All right, boys and girls, so now we have our vocabulary. Fill in the sentence. Okay, and we have again our vocabulary words here: plead, behavior, group, soar, and vivid. And we have the spoonbill here. There's the ball and there is an alligator. Okay, so I want you to also, if you would like to join me, get something to write on and something to write with. Number it from 1 through 5. Okay, you can help me read the sentences and we'll go ahead and do this activity together. Okay, for number 1, it is very interesting to watch a cat's blank when it is hunting for food. It is very interesting to watch a cat's behavior. Okay, how he acts. It's very interesting to watch a cat's behavior when it is hunting for food. Okay, number 2. John took a picture of the sunset because the colors were so what? So what? So vivid. When they're bright and colorful. Okay, number 3. My class will take a blank picture of everyone in our classroom. My class will take a group picture. Group. Okay, number 4. Anna had to blank with her parents to let her go with her friends. Anna had to plead. Plead. Okay. Last sentence. Alex watched the bird blank over the tall building. Soar. Soar. All right, boys and girls, so let's read the sentences together. Our first one says, it is very interesting to watch a cat's behavior when it is hunting for food. Number 2, John took a picture of the sunset because the colors were so vivid. Number 3, my class will take a group picture of everyone in our classroom. Okay, number 4, Anna had to plead with her parents to let her go with her friends. Okay, so if she's pleading, that means she is asking for something, right? Okay, number 5, Alex watched the bird soar over the tall building, and that's something that the eagle was doing. He was soaring. All right, boys and girls, so now you have your vocabulary questions, and you can either pause the video here or you can come back to it later. I'm just going to help you read the questions, and then you are going to write your statements. Remember that when you are writing your statements, make sure you are starting with an uppercase letter and your finger spaces between your words, okay? All right, so for number 1, what kinds of things have you pleaded for? What kinds of things have you pleaded for? Okay, number 2, can you name something that has vivid colors? So remember, vivid means like bright, very bright, just like the colors we see here. What does good behavior look like in the classroom? Okay, so take your time answering those questions, boys and girls. Like I said, you can come back to the video or you can pause the video now. All right, so we're going to move on to our next segment here. And we have our sight word Scrabble. We have a game. Okay, so for those of you joining us for the very first time, okay, we have 4 letters to put together to make a sight word. We will use the 2 bottom rows to help us figure out the mixed up letters that make up the sight words on the top 2 rows. Okay, so let's have some sight word fun. All right, so what we're gonna do, boys and girls, is we're gonna look at the very first group of letters that it's mixed up together, and I am going to look for the sight word that has the same letters. Okay, so I'm looking for a word that has a M, S, E, O. Okay, M, S, E, O. This does not have an M. No M. This one has an M but does not have an S. No M, no M. Okay, I have an M here. S. I have an E. And I also have an O. So I am going to circle. Whoops. I am going to circle. Excuse me. Circle that word. Okay, and then I am going to write that word underneath. Okay, S-O-M-E. And that's the sight word sum. Okay, I am going to look for the next word that has a H-N-W-E. Okay, this has an H, has an N, does not have a W. There's no H. I am looking for an H. This one has an H, has an N, has a W, and also has an E. So I am going to circle it. I will write it right here. W-H-E-N. That sight word is when. Okay, next I have A-H-T-N. No A here. There's an A here, but no H. No A, no A, no A. Here's an A. Here's an H. Here's a T, and there's an N. So I will circle it. And boys and girls, I am circling those words because that means that I already used it and I am only going to use each sight word once, only one time. Okay, so I am going to write the sight word underneath here. T-H-A-N. Okay, T-H-A and an N. Excuse me. All right, so that's the sight word van. Van. Okay, our next word or next group of letters that we have to find a word for, E-M-C-O. I have an E here. I do not have an M. No E here, no E here. I do see an E here. I also see an M, and I also see an E, and I also see an O. So I am going to circle that. I am going to write the sight word underneath just like this. It's a C-O-M-E. And that sight word is come. Come. Okay. Next we have N-E-T-H. N-E-T-H. I have an N here. I have an E. I have a T and I have an H. So I am going to circle it and I am going to put it right here. Okay. T-H-E-N. And that sight word is then. Then. Okay. Go to the next one. We have the next row. Y-W-A-A. Y-W-A-A. So I see a Y, a W, and two A's. So I will circle that and then I will write the sight word underneath. A-W-A-Y. And that sight word is away. Away. Okay, next we have R-W-E-E. Okay, I do not have an R here. There's an R here, but there is no W. There's an R, no W, so it must be this last one. Were. W-E-R-E. So we have a W-E-R-E, and that sight word is were. Were. Okay, the next one we have is M-P-J-U. M-P-J-U. We have an M, we have a P, we have a J, and we also have a U. I will circle that, and I am going to write it underneath right here. Okay, that sight word is jump. J-U-M-P. Jump. Okay, next we have U-F-R-O. U-F-R-O. U-F-R and an O. So I am going to circle that sight word. I am going to put the sight word underneath. F-O-U-R. That sight word is for. F-O-U-R. Okay, so we have our very last sight word here. Okay, I am going to, circle this one. And I am going to write it right here. And actually the sight word, boys and girls, is here. H-E-R-E. Here. Here. All right, so now we are going to read our sight words, and as we are reading them, okay, I am going to put a check mark. We're going to start with the first row of the sight words that I have circled, okay? So let's read them together. Then, jump, jump, when, some, here, away, come, for, than, were. All right, boys and girls, so that concludes our sight word Scrabble game. So now we're going to move right along with math time. Okay, so now we are going to subtract using a number line. Okay, so remember in the prior videos, we have been learning how to subtract using different methods and counting by tens. Okay, so now our number line is going to be by increments of 10. Okay, so we are subtracting, and remember that we've learned that subtracting, we're going to go backwards. Okay, so we are not going forward because the numbers are not going to get bigger. They're not going to get greater. The numbers are going to get smaller. They're going to be less. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start with 60. Okay, and we are going to take 50 away. Okay, so that means that we're going to go back 5 jumps. Okay, so we start with 60. Help me count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So that means that this is what our answer is going to be. Okay, just to kind of give you a visualization so you can see, we counted 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So our answer was 10. Okay, so our answer is 10. That's how we are counting. We're counting backwards by tens. So if we were subtracting, boys and girls, if we had a number line, we would start at 6 and then we would move back 5. It's the same thing, but in that case, we'd be counting by ones. So in this case, we're counting by tens. Okay, so let's go to our next one. Subtract using a number line. So now we're going to start with 70. Remember, we are counting by tens. So what we're going to do, boys and girls, is we're going to start at 70 here, and we're going to take away 40. That means we're taking away in a number line. We always go which way? Backwards. So we're going to go backwards 40. Okay, so we're going to count by tens. Okay, we're going to count by tens till we get to 40. So let's start at 70 and help me count to 40. Okay, we're going to count by tens. 10, 20, 30, and 40. So this is our answer. Okay, our answer is 30. So help me count to 40. 10, 20, 30, and 40. So we have all the way up to 40. So, and when we stop at 40, our answer is 30. All right, boys and girls, let's go to our next one. Subtract using a number line. So again, we are going to count by tens. In this case, we're starting at 50. Okay, and we're going to count back. It says we're taking away 30. So that means we're going to count by tens backwards because we are subtracting and we are going to get to what? We're going to count back 30, okay? So let's start at 50. Help me count till we get to 30. Whoops. 10, 20, and 30. Here is our answer. 10, 20, and 30. So we see that our answer is going to be 20. Okay, so we write 20 down there because that is our answer. Okay, we are going to go to our next problem. Subtract using a number line. So we are going to take away 10 from 30. We start at 30, okay, and we are taking away 10. So 30, and then we go, whoops, we go back. And that's only 1 because it's saying just 10. So that counts 10. So this is our answer. Okay, our answer is 20. So 30 take away 10 is 20. All right, boys and girls. So let's try counting by tens backwards, starting from 100. Help me count. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. Okay, it's kind of just counting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's kind of like that, but we're adding a 0 to it because we're counting by tens. So when we're counting, sometimes it might be a little bit harder, more difficult because it's by tens, but it's the same concept as if we're counting down. Okay, just think about that. You're counting like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The same thing. We're just adding a 0 to it. Okay? All right. Subtract using a number line. So we are going to have 60 take away 50. So we are going to start at what number? We start at 60. okay, right here. And we're going to move, how many jumps are we going to move back? How many spaces? We're going to move back 50 because it's taken away. Remember, when we subtract, we always go backwards. Okay, so we're at 60. We're going to move back 50. So help me count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So this is our answer. Okay, help me count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, so we counted the 50 that we need to take away, but we know that our answer is 10. Okay, so we counted to 50 because those are the ones we're taking away. So the bottom is 10. That's our answer. Okay, subtract using a number line. We have 60, take away 40. Okay, so we are going to start with the 60 and we are going to take away 40. Okay, so let's start at 60 and then we're going to go, remember, every time we're subtracting, which direction do we go? That's right, we go backwards. We always go backwards. Okay, so 60 and then we're going to take away 40. Help me count by tens. 10, 20, 30, and 40. So this is our answer. Okay, let's count by tens. Make sure that that's 40. 10, 20, 30, and 40. So our answer, how many we took away was 40. So we know that our answer is 20. Okay, we have 20. All right, let's go to the next problem. Subtract using a number line. Okay, so we have a different number. We have 70. Okay, and we are taking 10 away. All right, boys and girls. So which number are we going to start with in the number line? So if we were actually drawing our own number line, boys and girls, let me show you what you would do. Okay, we would start with 70 here. Okay, we would not have the number line that we had there. That number line is there just so we could use it for whatever number. But if we were to be making our own number line, if I had this problem and if I did not have a number line, I would start with 70, then I knew I would have to move back 1, and that would be my answer. Okay, so my answer would be 60, and it's 10. So let's try it on this number line. So I am at 70, and I'm only moving 10, and that's my answer. You see, that's the 10 that we're talking about. You see how it's not necessary to write all of those numbers? We're only going to start at the number that we are subtracting from and moving backwards the number that we are subtracting. Okay, let's try it with this one. Okay, and then we'll check it with the number line that's already there. Okay, so we have our number line. I am going to write 90. Okay, we are moving back 60 because it says take away 60. And remember, every time that we subtract, we are moving backwards in the number line because the numbers are getting smaller. Okay, because we're taking away, we're not adding to. Okay, so we have to take away 60. So let's count by tens. Okay, we're going to count by tens all the way to 60. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. This is our answer. Okay, so remember, we're counting down. It's the same thing as like we're counting by ones, okay? Like 9, 8, so it'd be 80. Okay, 90, 80, 9, 8, 7, so 70, 9, 8, 7, 6, 60. In case if I did not know how to count by tens backwards, I can count by ones and then I can just add the 0. 90, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 3. You see what I did? I just counted by ones and I just added the 0. So I already know that it's 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, and 30. So my answer would be 30. Now let's make sure that I actually moved 60, moved back 60, okay? So let's count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So I did That's just double checking our work, boys and girls. We have to double check our work, make sure that we move the spaces correctly. So now let's try it on the number line that's already here, drawn for us. Okay, we start at 90 and then we're gonna move 60. So help me count to 60 by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. And this is our answer. Okay, so we got the same answer, which is 30. Okay, you see, so our answer is 30. So let's in fact write the numbers to make sure that it was 60 spaces that we moved. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So it was the 60. Okay, so see how we had extra numbers there in the number line that we did not need? Okay, so when you are drawing your own number line, remember to start only with the number that you are using, and then you can just go ahead and work your way backwards or forwards depending if you're adding or subtracting. Okay, so now boys and girls, it is your turn to go into MobyMax. Okay, you're going to go into MobyMax, log into MobyMax at www.mobymax.com. Once you go on there, step number 1 would be go into MobyMax and you're going to go and click on where it says the orange box there where it says sign in. Okay, you're going to sign in right there. That's step number 1. Okay, once you do that, step number 2 is for you to check that you are logging in or signing in as a student. Because if you're signing in as something else, it's not going to work for you. Okay, once you do that, you are going to, right here at the bottom where it says school name, okay, for step number 4, you are going to write Guadalupe Center. Okay, if you do not know how to spell Guadalupe Center, you can pause the video right now, okay, and you can write it Guadalupe Center. In case, boys and girls, if it's too small for you to see, I'll write it for you down here. It's Guadalupe. Then remember, you have to leave a finger space, and then you're going to write center, CENTER. Okay, so that's what you're going to write right here underneath where it says school name, and then you're going to click the find button. Okay, once you click that, then you're going to see that Guadalupe is going to come up right here under school. Okay, so you're going to click on Guadalupe right there. Okay, and that's going to take you to step number 4. Again, you have to check to see that you are in as a student. Okay, because you have to make sure that you're not in as a teacher, as a parent, or as something else, because when you try to put in your lunch number, it's not going to work. Okay, so go ahead and go in as a student. I want you to also double check that for your school that you have Guadalupe Center, because if you do not have the correct school, again, it will not work for you. Once you have checked that you're in as a student and that you're in the right school, Guadalupe Center, I need for you to type in your lunch number for user